How to survive a narcissist smear campaign. This is so important because these smear campaigns are really so common and so toxic. When they happen, it's something that can actually start to affect our health because we're going through so much anxiety, so much stress. It can affect our social well-being, our social standing, because we start losing friends. We start losing connections to people in our community, family members. We could even lose our job. And that's really what happened to Micah because she went through a double smear campaign. First, at the hands of her narcissist. You see, she was married to a narcissist, and although she had a nice job working as a therapist, when the marriage started to get on the rocks a little bit, because Michael was starting to learn about narcissism and not give in to the demands and not be as easily controlled, then her narcissistic husband really got intense with his smear campaign. And so he started going behind her back and telling their friends, their family, and even her coworkers negative things about her. Some of them were based on some truthful, accurate things, some actual flaws and some secrets that she wouldn't have wanted exposed to anyone, but a lot of it was just lies. And it was like he was trying to destroy her reputation, and in the process it really was affecting Micah's career. In time, Micah did actually end up losing her job because of the allegations that her husband was spreading about her. It raised too many concerns in the tender industry that she was working in, and she had to resign. Eventually, the mutual friends that Micah and her husband had all seemed to side with her husband, and she even got kicked out of some of the social clubs. So now she had lost things on a, on a professional level. She had lost things on a financial level. She was losing things on a social level. When they got divorced, Micah thought her problems were over. The next man that she got involved with was kind, he was caring, he had even had narcissistic eopathic exes in his past. And so he was healing from that, but he wasn't healing well because he was constantly suspicious of Micah that she would cheat on him as he had been cheated on in the past. Eventually, his negativity mindset, which he had developed to protect himself, was being used to find ways in which something was wrong with Micah and even accuse Micah of cheating when she really was not. Eventually, he started to voice his concerns to her friends and family and to his inner circle, and they started to encourage him to get out of the relationship and not to trust Micah. So now Micah was faced with another breakup and another devastating smear campaign on top of the smear campaign that she had already gone through. In time, she found herself even pushed out of more communities. She felt alone. When she thought about it, it was like 80 to 90% of the people that she knew, maybe more like 98% of the people that she was close to, were all gone. They didn't want to associate with her. Some people weren't accepting phone calls or returning text messages from her. Many of them were making a concerted effort to not speak to her again. And yes, this is based on a true story. And you might be one of the people who's had a story like this before. Because many of the people right here in this group right now have had narcissistic parents, narcissistic spouses, narcissistic brothers and sisters, friends and co-workers and bosses who have used the same technique, the smear campaign, on you. But why are narcissists doing this? Like, what is their objective? What are they trying to achieve? Narcissists use a smear campaign as a control and manipulation mechanism. It is all about control and manipulation. Narcissists have several aims, but it's always control and manipulation. So in the case of the smear campaign, for some narcissists, they use it as a way to hoover or to suck you back into their relationship. You see, because they know the only logical way that you can stop the smear campaign is to contact them. So they figure if they put out a lot of information about you, now that they're out of the relationship with you, you will become upset and you'll want to protect your job and protect your reputation, and you'll have no choice but to reach out to them. And when you do, they've got you. And they can hit you with the, hey, come on, let's just sit down and talk. I'm really going through a lot. I've been really feeling so bad since this breakup, and let's just get some closure. Let's just go and get something to eat and let's talk, so that they can suck you back in. Many narcissists use the smear campaign because it's rule or ruin. Once they realize that they're losing control of you, they view it now as their job, as their mission in life to destroy you. If I can't rule her, I have to ruin her. Many narcissists are doing this as a way of controlling the perception of their own image, right? So they want everyone to view them in a certain light. And now that they've lost you as a mate, they need to be able to justify why they've lost such a good person by making sure that everyone knows you are not a good person. So even if they have to bring out any secrets you've ever told them, all your weaknesses, and twist them around and then actually tell lies, then they can justify why they've lost you as an employee, why they've lost you as their boyfriend, as their husband. They can justify why there had to be a split, and they can protect their image because they know if someone asks you, you might tell the truth. And if the truth comes out, then they're going to look bad, and they can never look bad. So they have to make sure they make you look bad, even if it makes them look bad in the process of making you look bad. This is their only strategy. They must rule or ruin. So they will do everything in their power to bring down your image, to make everyone believe and think something about you that is negative. They want to destroy you. It is a psychological attack. But please understand, if we lived in ancient times where a person could just be stoned or executed for negative information that came out about them, they still would not hesitate. They would be happy to see you literally killed despite being innocent. That is how they think. Understand what you're dealing with. This is psychopathy. They don't mind you being killed. It's just that we live in a society in modern times where it's not as common to execute people over what negative information comes out about them. So that's why narcissists, for the most part, don't actually kill, because we just don't live in a time where it's socially acceptable. But their mindset is the mindset of a killer. They don't mind killing you. They are murderous in their spirit. They are trying to destroy you. They want to see you die. And really, to kill you psychologically, to them, that's the best way possible. So the fact that this is hurting you is not hurting them. That's where all the pleasure is. And if they can just get you to engage, that is a victory for them. If they can just get you to get into the mud with them, then they can get you nice and dirty. And that's what they want. Some kind of reaction, some kind of engagement. Call them, text them, Facebook message them, IM them, just to do something. Get involved some way. They want to see you act out. They want to see you feel something. That is why narcissists do what they do. Because they want to see that they can make you feel. They get pleasure from you reacting. And if they can get you to do reactive abuse, oh, that is such a joy to them. That is the ultimate victory. If you can get mad at them, yell at them, curse at them, maybe lay hands on them, oh, yes. This is what they've done it for. This is a fact. This is a fact. But regardless of why they're doing it, you have a certain responsibility, and that is to take care of you. Another person cannot make you go crazy. They cannot make you lose your mind. And although narcissists are absolutely toxic and not good for your mental health, you are responsible for maintaining your sanity, maintaining your clarity, controlling your behavior, making sure you're not overreacting or going into reactive abuse, making sure you're not reaching out and becoming desperate and giving into their ploy. So what can we do if we are being smeared? Because there's people right here on the call today who are being smeared in their life right now. There's already a campaign against them. One woman I met, she said her boyfriend went and told everyone in the community that she cheated on him, and she never did any such thing. It was actually the opposite was true. He actually cheated on her, but he went and made her look terrible to everyone. And it affects the way she's feeling. It affects the way that she thinks from on a day-to-day basis. So how can we overcome, how can we survive a narcissist smear campaign? What can we do? How do we win when everyone now is against us? The answer is simple. Just like healing from narcissistic abuse, the way that we defend ourselves from narcissistic abuse is the same thing. And it comes down to three basic components: your beliefs, your way of thinking, and your behavior, your actions. Those are the three components that you need to handle in order to be able to survive the narcissistic smear campaign. Your beliefs, your way of thinking, and your behavior. Now, we're going to break this down, right? So that you can understand exactly what I'm talking about and how to implement this strategy into your situation right now, or be ready for the next situation, because it will actually come. This is incredibly common for people to have to go through this. So let's address this first thing, the beliefs. Something that you believe in is something that you put faith in. It's something that you put confidence in. In fact, in many languages, the word for belief and confidence is one word. They don't have two different words for it. So whatever you confide in, you put your confidence in, that is what you believe in. That is what you trust. Your beliefs are so key to who you are, to how you act. Whatever you believe is how you operate. Our beliefs are everything. So what are your beliefs around what's actually happening right now? For instance, if you have beliefs that weaken you in this situation, then you need to change those beliefs so that you have beliefs that are making you strong in this situation. An example of a belief that would be weakening you in this situation is, it's my responsibility to make sure that everyone loves me. It's my responsibility to make sure that everyone knows who I really am, to make sure that people can see my heart. Wrong. Is an incorrect belief. Scribble that out on your piece of paper or in your mind somewhere. Rip up the page, throw it in the garbage. It is not your responsibility to make sure that everyone likes you. It is not your responsibility to control what other people think. It is not your responsibility to make sure no one hates you and everyone knows that you're a good person. Let's look at a proper belief. Everyone who's important has haters. That is a true belief. Every person has haters. There has never existed in all of history any important person, anyone who was known by anyone, that didn't also have people that hated them simultaneously. Go ahead and go through history. Anyone you know, they have always had haters, detractors, enemies, foes. They always had somebody. Even Jesus was hated. He was hated so much that he was actually executed, because back in those times they did execute people that they hated. And why did they execute him? What law did he break? He didn't break any laws. They just didn't like him. True story. This is the reality of the universe we live in. So if it can happen to Jesus, could it happen to us? Who are we? Of course we will be hated. We're important. Of course we will be hated. If there's anyone who loves us, if there's anyone who knows us, then there's going to be people who hate us. And do they have to have a good reason? No. It can be based on lies. But is it your job to change that or to fix that? No. Let's change the beliefs to accurate beliefs that make us strong. The truth of the matter is, when you have people that dislike you or are against you, they're going to be against you. Whether you try to do a song and dance for them or not, you can't please them. You can't please the ops. They are the enemies. Give you a prime example of where you see this play out. Every single term, that's 4 years in the United States, there's a presidential election. And typically you get two candidates who are the most prominent candidates, right? And they almost always engage in a smear campaign against the other team. Now I ask you, is there ever a time in your lifetime that you noticed during a presidential smear campaign that the people on the other side who were going to vote for opponent A after watching the smear commercials said, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know that my candidate was such a terrible person," and they changed their vote. They cast their candidate aside and said, "I'm changing parties. I'm completely changing everything. I have to call everyone and let them know that now that we've seen this commercial, this smear commercial, we're actually going to change." And then millions of people all changed their vote and went to the other side. Does that ever happen? And then one candidate just slides in on a landslide and wins with 80% of the vote. Has that ever happened? No, because it's not reality. That's not the world that we live in. What actually happens is everyone smears the other team, and someone may win, but they win by a thin margin with 51% of the vote. And the other got 49, which is still basically half and half. Well, what happened? How come the other side wasn't convinced by the smear campaign of the other side? Because when you decide who you're rocking with, you just rock with that person virtually no matter what. And when you decide that you're against someone, you're going to continue to be against them. That's the way the universe actually works. So now look at your situation. Whoever is not rocking with you, whoever is against you, they're always going to be that way. If that's their choice, if given any option, that's what they choose to do, they were never truly your friends. If you feel like you lost people who were originally with you and now they seem to be with the narcissist, those aren't true friends. So change the beliefs to recognize, oh, anyone who would easily give me up and side with my narcissistic mate was never totally with me. If you have old beliefs such as, oh no, everybody's thinking bad, everyone believes what the narcissist is saying, update your beliefs to the truth. The truth is that if someone believes some information about you without having it verified, then they're actually being prejudiced. And if they're actually thinking something negatively about you because of what they heard, they're being judgmental. So I ask you, do you want prejudiced, judgmental friends? Is that who you are hoping to make friends with? Prejudice, judgmental people. That's who attracts you. Are those the kind of friends you want? No, that's not the kind of friends you want. Anyone who's believing the narcissist is easily swayed, weak-minded, prejudiced, judgmental, or just innocently misinformed. These aren't the individuals who you need to be worried that they're not your best friends because you never had them. They just didn't have a reason to hate you yet. If they're like that, if they're changing and switching on you like that, you never actually had them. So mentally, you can let them go. It's very important that we change our beliefs, the paradigms, the schemas. Because when our beliefs are based in reality and truth, when they give us strength that helps us to not be weakened, your job is to care for your mental health. So make sure your beliefs are accurate. It's my job to make sure everyone likes me. No, it's not your job to care for what other people are thinking. It's not your job. Unless you're in advertising or you're a psychologist or something like that, right? But for most of us, it's not our job to worry about what everyone else is thinking. It is our job to care for what we are thinking. Make sure you control the beliefs. How about, I've lost everything? That's a false belief. You have not lost everything. If you tell yourself that, you will give yourself cortisol, and that's bad for your health, and that will lead you to depression. You have not lost everything. You lost some judgmental, prejudiced friends. That's all. And by the way, that may be temporary, right? Because here's another true belief. People are fickle, right? They get really excited about the football team that's winning, right? So when things turn around in a couple of years and you're in this winning position, a lot of those people are going to lemming their way over to your side. So don't worry about it, right? Can you see how checking the beliefs makes you stronger? The second thing that we need to change is our way of thinking. The way of thinking is your actual process, your actual approach mentally. Day by day, you see, you actually can control as a conscious being the energy of your mind. So you decide where you will place your energy. So you can decide what you focus on. Your way of thinking will destroy you if you focus on what you cannot control. I can't believe they're saying that. Oh no, this is spreading. Oh no, now other people are telling. Oh no, they. They think, they say, they think, they say. You can't control what other people think and say. So you must focus the energy of the mind on what you can control. Because I promise you, there is an infinite void of things in life that you cannot control. And if you focus the energy of your mind on things you cannot control, then you are wasting energy. You are pouring it out. You need to invest your energy, invest the energy of the mind on what you do control. What can you control? You can focus your effort on things that you have and your abilities. I have my children. Oh, look at this. I have a small tribe here of people who are still with me, who understand my side of the story. Oh, look at this. I still have my skills. I can find another job. Oh, look at this. I have education. Oh, look at this. I have the ability to go and get an education. Oh, look at this. I have a library card. Oh, look at this. I have the internet. Oh, look at this. I have a YouTube subscription. I can educate my mind so that I can elevate my life and pull myself into a new situation. I can move myself to a new community. I can focus. What do you have? Focus on what you have, and then what you have will expand. One of the best ways we can overcome, we can succeed and be victorious through a narcissistic smear campaign is to build something for ourselves. Ultimately, people will know you by your conduct. It is not important for you to be thinking, I need to go and call all these people and tell them the truth. Don't get into the mud with the pigs. Elevate your way of thinking. Your way of thinking is how you focus the energy of your mind. Focus on your tribe, your skills, what you control, your family, your friends. Immediately mentally disconnect from anyone you think has been poisoned with falsehood. Anyone you think that has been poisoned with lies, mentally disconnect from them. You do that as a way of protecting yourself from feeling rejected. You're not going to worry if they rejected you if you mentally disconnect from them right away, like, oh no, they've been affected by the poison of the lies of the narcissist. Well, I'm going to mentally let them go. Now, if I find out later that they're still rocking with me and they have mental fortitude, if they're smart enough, kind enough, they have enough wherewithal to actually reach out and find out the truth, then that's a different story. But right now, the way I'm going to think, the way I'm going to use the energy of my mind is to disconnect immediately mentally from anyone that may have been poisoned by the narcissist so that I don't worry about what they're doing. I don't worry about what they're thinking. I don't worry about what they're feeling. And I focus on what I control over here and get busy pursuing your purpose. Focus on what your job is. Imagine you're a writer at a major studio and you guys are creating a animated film or a motion picture or a TV series, and you're on a whole team of writers, and the head writer says, okay, your job is to focus on personal development of the character. Now, someone else's job is to focus on how this character is perceived by others, what other people are saying about the character, the reputation of the character. And what will happen if you come into work and you get upset about how this other writer is writing about the reputation of the character? The head writer will come back to you and he will say, your job is to focus on personal development. Well, I have a message for you from the head writer of the universe. Your job is to focus on personal development because a story is being written about you. And it is not 100% being written by the narcissist and the flying monkeys. Your job is to focus on your personal development. Don't worry about the perception. It's unimportant. The way that you succeed in the end is to have something to show 2 years from now. The way that you lose is to stop and shut down and focus just on all the negative and how everyone else is thinking about you. Let's get real. People don't really care about you that much. They only have 24 hours in the day and they have to worry about what they're going to eat and what they're going to drink and what's happening in their life, and they're going through their own problems. So don't fool yourself into thinking people are constantly thinking something bad about you. You don't know what people are thinking. It is not your job. It is not your business. Focus on what you control. Write your story by developing yourself. Don't focus on the loss. Focus on what you have and create gains. And when you have gains, focus on your gains. Remind yourself over and over again of what you've gained in this time. Go into gratitude. Meditate on gratitude every morning. Just take 2 minutes. What are 3 things I'm grateful for? Finally, your third line of defense is your behavior, meaning your actions. You control what you do 100%. You cannot say, well, because the narcissist talked bad about me, that's why I had to go over there and toilet paper his house or spray paint or scratch his car. No, 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 no. You control your actions. You control your behavior. So utilize your personal ability with your new beliefs and your new way of thinking. Since you're focusing your attention on what you control, get busy pursuing your purpose. That's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. And as you do it, it is actually an inevitability that there will be people who dislike what you're doing or have criticisms for what you're doing or go against what you're doing. But your job is not to control them or to try to make sure they don't do that or they don't feel that way. Your job is to focus on your purpose and so make your actions follow. Wake up each day and lay another brick on the house that you are building. Because what will get you past this is to have something to show in the end. The time is going to pass anyway. Have something to show for it. How? By getting busy right now. Yes, by working and working hard, pursuing your purpose. You got to work hard in the gym. You got to work hard on your responsibilities, but you have to do your legacy work. That's the work that's going to create the legacy of who you are in the end because you're not worried about right now, just 2022. You're already thinking ahead of 2032. What is going to be the legacy that you've left behind? If you're not working right now on your book, on your memoir, on your movie, on going live, on writing your story, on starting your business, if you're not working right now on that, why? There is no excuse. Every day, put the effort, put the energy, put the work in into your personal development, into pursuing your purpose. That's your job. Focus on your job. There are certain situations where we need to speak up for ourselves. So judge every situation, but your silence is your most powerful tool. Because there's situations where, for legal reasons, they have actually broken the law, and you can go after them for harassment or for slander or libel. Talk to a lawyer if you feel that's the case in your situation. And all that can really be done is a letter can be sent to tell them to cease and desist. And then hopefully that could help to stop things if there's legal action that needs to be taken. But in most cases, this is just not our situation. There's also situations where from some friends, some family members could reach out, could want your take on the story. It's appropriate then to give them a clear, brief, and simple answer, such as the information that you've heard about me is untrue. And knowing what I know about that person, I would not believe anything that's said. Excuse me. I have to go work on my purpose. Hang up the phone. Keep it clear, brief, and simple. But ultimately, recognize the power of silence because your words are energy. One, because they carry thoughts and thoughts are energy. Two, because you're actually utilizing the vocal cords to create vibration, and that vibration is sound waves. Those sound waves are energy. And what happens when you're trying to defend yourself in a narcissistic smear campaign is you are pouring energy into the lies, into the smearing, into the stories. You are adding fuel to the fire. Do not put energy into it. The thing that makes the narcissist feel the saltiest is when you just move on and are indifferent to them. You're not upset, you're not mad, you're not angry. You're just peacefully, happily, serenely, strongly moving on. That is how you succeed.